UVA's Morning Juice. Sports, insight, and great storytelling. Starring Bobby Carpenter and Jeff Tito Thidoff. It's time to attack and dominate.
Attack and dominate is what we will do. It's Tito. It's Bobby. It's Bodie. The average age just decreased by a large amount there on this show here, Bob. Bodie steps in for first time here with us, going solo on this edition of the Morning Juice. Bodie, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, guys. I can't hear anything in my headphones right now.
That's great.
Yeah, so we're off to a pretty great start. But nevertheless, we'll try to get that fixed here in the short time coming here before we start Today in History. That way I can actually hear the cuts. But other than that, I'm doing great, guys.
It's part of the initiation. We do this here when new producers come on. We decide to do that to make things difficult for you. Bobby, last night, by the way, ask me, Bobby. I usually don't tell you what to say. Ask me when the Pro Football Hall of Fame game is.
I was just doing the math on the average age decreasing. It's about, I think it was about 12 years.
Okay.
So there we go. So if you're going to say the average age decreased, and then there's like going to be a reveal.
Right.
And then you don't ever give it. So people probably want to know that. If you're going to tease it out there, you should have maybe done the math. And
it just
you have the numbers for all of the when the games are, when things are starting. But if you're going to do something, let's throw it out there.
Bob, that's fair.
Average age went from, oh, goodness, like 50. I forget what it was, but it dropped down. I went from like 54 to 41. So
okay, there we go. See,
yeah.
We're trying to appeal to a younger generation now. We're changing things up already. Just a little more than a month into this new show.
We'll see if Bodie can learn the technical
that's
aspects.
The whole thing.
Like
we're trying to figure this out right now. We're going to see. Hey, you know what? Let's call Shark.
A big tech guy.
Listen, I'll tell you right now, Bobby. That's a sign of growth by me. I did not text Shark this morning. I told him I was going to do it just to see if he was awake or not. I didn't do it because I'm growing as a person.
Really?
I think a year ago I would have done it. That's how much I've grown.
Growing around or
no. We know I'm not doing that. Ask me, when's the Pro Football Hall of Fame game?
When's the Pro Football Hall of Fame game?
Later this month. We can say this month. Ohio State, Texas, next month. That's how close we are now, Bob. I can smell it in the air, and not just because Schlegel sat here yesterday. It's not the only reason I smell football.
Can you feel it coming?
I can feel it coming as well.
Tonight.
Yes, it's in the air tonight. There we go. Look. That right there. That right there is why he's a first-round pick for us. We are 29 days till the Pro Football Hall of Fame game, 52 days till the first 4 college football games, 59 till Ohio State, Texas, 64 till the start of the NFL. Reds and Red Sox suspended, with Boston leading 2-1 after 3 innings. They'll resume that at 2:30 today at Fenway, and then they'll play the regularly scheduled game. But you've got to buy tickets to that one if you didn't go to if you want to go to both games. You got to buy 2 tickets, whatever. 7:10 tonight is that one. Cubs beat the Guards 5-2. They play at 8 o'clock tonight at Wrigley. Ivan Provorov signed a 7-year deal worth $8.5 million in average annual value with the Jackets. It's being widely criticized in the media as an overpay. But
how much did they pay him?
It's 7 years with an average worth $8.5 million. It's like $60 million what it ends up being. Which, look, I'm okay with the signing. I know people saying they may have paid too much. Look, they need him. They got him. And I think maybe you paid a little more than you wanted to, but I'm glad they got him back.
Yeah. Very, very talented player.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think retaining your guys is big.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see kind of where it goes. They're trying to build this team. They're trying to make that next step from being like a team that's competing for the 8th spot to a team that's a playoff caliber hockey team that is going to be in contention every year. So this hopefully should help that. And
Pop.
What?
No good.
Oh, I thought Bodie was saying something.
Nope.
And so we'll see where this goes and like how they're able to continue to build off of this as well. And you got to remember too, they had a lot of money come off the books because Johnny's contract isn't on there anymore, and that was something that was, as we talked about, obviously unexpected. And so going into this year, they had money to spend that they probably didn't anticipate, but they also had a talent void. Then you also have to fill in.
We don't talk a lot of WNBA on this show, Bob, but the Fever and Lynx last night, Indiana against Minnesota, played at the Target Center in Minneapolis, and a significant injury occurred. Have you heard about this?
What, did Caitlin Clark get hurt?
No, Caitlin Clark's already
Even
out,
more
I
important
believe.
than that, Carp.
No, yeah, Red Panda got hurt.
The lady that juggles
The
and
unicycle,
and does the stuff on the head and everything.
That was her. She fell off her unicycle.
Okay.
And
has she ever fallen off before? Because I've never seen the fails. I only see the highlights.
Yeah, I know. I've never seen. I don't know if she has, but she fell off. They said she appeared to hurt her wrist, did not lose consciousness, and they took her off in a wheelchair.
Do we know?
That's the thing in the story. By the way, as a former quote unquote journalist, I will tell you that should be in the story. I wanted the same thing, and I'm not going to click on some kind of link or go try to look up her age. I don't know, but. It does say in the story she's done this for many years as a fan favorite, has been performing like this.
She's been doing this for at least 10.
Right.
I mean, there's probably longer.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
I mean,
Wikipedia says born in 70 or 71, so we
Okay,
haven't
so
nailed it down
could
yet.
have been one hell of a birth.
Destination unknown. So she's
Right.
she's over 50.
Yes.
Mid-50s.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that all she did was hurt a wrist? I mean,
It says they know
bruise
she's
on
hurt
the
her wrist.
wrist is a hell of a long way from the heart.
That's a good
Tito.
call, but they said she's being taken. She was taken to
Why
hospital for
was she
evaluation.
in the wheelchair then?
I don't know. They just said all they said
Pierce?
for sure. Yes, right. She probably had a little incident down there. But they said she was taken. They're not sure what. They just knew though the wrist appeared to hurt her wrist. Everything else, they're not sure. They were going to take her. So we don't know. Have an update on that yet. But whenever I see something like this, Bob,
Does like the team trainer come out and handle that?
I don't know if she has I don't know if there's a panda.
What's the protocol for this?
I think they have a
For, like,
panda trainer that comes out.
Oh yeah, when entertainers get hurt, like who takes care of them on set?
That's a good point. Yeah.
Is it like the team trainer that comes out?
On top of that, Bob, it begs another question. If the team trainer comes out and takes care of her, do they bill her? Does the team bill her for
they
that?
ain't billing them.
I think that'd be great. I think they should do that
I
because
don't think they have an invoicing set up for that.
I think okay, that's fine. But that's what
I
I
don't
do.
think there's a process for them because they don't bill they don't bill anybody they see. So why would they bill them?
Clearly, she's had to fall before.
Has she?
Well, when you learn
You
something
just
like
said
this,
clearly.
Well, Bobby, I'm just saying.
Statistically speaking,
I
it
mean,
feels
logically.
like.
Like my kid, you make these overarching,
That's fine.
grandiose statements, and I'm like, dude, dial it back.
No.
Not clearly she's had to fall before. Well, maybe while she was learning.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. Because I can't believe she
How
got
long
up.
has she been doing this? That off? It's like maybe it's been 20 years since she fell. I don't know.
It might have been, but I'm just saying she's fall. That's the thing I was wondering about when you do something like this. How many times do you fall? Because it's not something you're born just knowing how to do. You can't just get up and
So
all of a
maybe
sudden.
you're not. Maybe I'm not. Maybe
Have
Red
you ever rode a
Panda was.
unicycle?
No,
Do you think
I've
if
never
you?
tried either.
Well, I'm saying, do you think if you tried to ride one right now, you'd just pick it up right away?
Are you familiar with what a ripstick is?
A ripstick?
Yeah. Do you know what a ripstick is, Bodie?
Is it like a pogo stick?
No, it's a one-wheeled skateboard kind of deal.
Okay.
That, like you swivel
It's
back
like a balance
and forth.
board kind of thing almost.
A little bit. That
Okay.
You move around, you swivel back and forth. And so when I got drafted to Dallas, the kids in my neighborhood were using them. I think I still have my ripstick. And I thought it was pretty cool. So I
Okay.
got a ripstick. Now, granted, I was like 20, probably 24, 25 when I got it. But I learned how to ride it within a day.
Okay.
I don't think my wife ever really figured out how to ride it, but
Did you fall at all?
never to the ground. I
Okay.
fell off of it and jumped
Right.
down, but I never fell down to the point where I hurt myself. I always got my hand down and I was good.
Okay.
So I'm not saying that I could ride a unicycle, but I don't know that it would be the hardest thing in the world to do.
I remember when I was at Ohio State on campus there was a guy who used to ride around on a unicycle.
Did he really?
I saw him on a regular basis, too.
Wow.
I was pretty
They
impressed.
have these motorized unicycles now that I watch people
That's
ride
cheating.
around on. How?
No, that's like riding a motorized bike, Bobby. If you're going to do it the right way.
Okay, so is it any less difficult?
No, it's probably not. I'm just saying having the
Okay.
motor on it,
Just
though.
the balancing, right?
The balance,
So-
the balancing. Say, I'm saying, but I just look. I just feel like that's like being on steroids. That's like juicing, is what that is. That's Barry Bonds. If you're on that, look, show me the guy who's not doing it. He's Barry Bonds with the Pirates, and you show me the guy doing it, and it's Bond with the motor. It's Bonds with the Giants.
But I don't think it impacts the balancing one way or another.
It doesn't, but
that's
it just
that's the point that I'm making.
it gets you there quicker. I want to see you work harder, Bobby. After setting consecutive days records with longest this date in histories, this will be one of the shorter ones probably. But good news for us that we've got the bed now. The music bed is longer, so we don't have to hit it twice, which cuts down on how much communication Bodie and I have to do. But Bob, make us smarter.
time to get smarter. Morning Juice presents Today in History. Here's your professor, Bobby Carpenter.
Bodie, you got to fix the headphone there? You good?
I did, yes.
Look at
Turns
this.
out when you put things in Q on this board,
Yes.
it completely wipes out your headphones. On the other board over there, it only takes out one half. So
There we go.
Only takes out one half.
that's right. I can still hear in one ear, not the other. So I was looking around, and
Why
I'm
do
just
you
like,
think that is?
I don't really know. I'm guessing. I think
of
this
life's
board.
great mysteries.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit less to this board as I look at it, because also in the other studio, you can like split it, so you can have it to where you can hear it in one ear or not in the other, or not at all. But that button is not on this board, so.
What do you got for us today,
Learn
Bob?
that today in history.
You learn something new every day. It is Wednesday, July 2nd, the 183rd day of the year, 182 remaining. We flipped over half of the year in the bag. The state, 1698. Thomas Savery patents the first steam engine. The state, 1776. The Continental Congress adopts the Lee Resolution, severing ties with Great Britain, and then followed up by the Declaration of Independence 2 days, I guess, later. This date, 1890, U.S. Congress passes the Sherman Antitrust Act, which is ironic given the fact that yesterday the House settlement went into play for the NCAA, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of antitrust lawsuits that stem from it, and all kinds of things. Moving forward, I was talking with Rick Neuheisel on Off Campus about that. I'm like, the irony that was passed a day ago, like 100 years, 150 years prior, is kind of wild.
That's amazing. And I wish maybe if I ever retire, maybe I'll take that time to go back and learn all this stuff.
About what, the Sherman Antitrust Act?
Yeah, all that, the history, just history,
Life.
just stuff.
I'll tell you,
You
I've
go
been
over-
watching Suits.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I could be a lawyer, but
Oh, that's all my
I
knowledge
think
is
I
law
could
and
kind of
order.
pull it
maybe.
off.
I think
Yeah.
I could. I could defend myself in
Yeah.
court. I think I do all right.
Frank Abagnale,
Yes. Good point.
I mean, he passed the bar without taking a test,
Yeah.
without studying or going to law school.
That's one of those clips I've seen.
Why do they always bet on the Yankees?
Right. Yeah.
Because they got Mickey Mantle.
Right. Exactly.
Can't
Yes.
stop looking at the
Can't
pinstripes.
stop looking at the pinstripes. Have you seen the action? There's a clip of him on the Johnny Carson show, like the
The
actual
70s. Yeah.
the actual
Guy who
Frank
was the movie
Abagnale.
was after.
Yes,
made after. I've never seen that.
And it talked about how he went to a Miami nightclub, or Miami party or
Yeah,
something.
a party in Miami. Yeah.
And he starts talking, there's this girl there, and she's an escort, and how he takes her back, and she is saying it's $1,000, and he actually writes her a badge, or $600.
It was 600.
He writes her a check for $1,000. She gives him $400 back. It's obviously a bad check.
Yeah.
He goes, so I got everything I needed that night.
Yeah. He said he had a
told her
cashier's
he-
check for $1,000.
He told her he owned the hotel. He didn't want to go downstairs. It was it's this elaborate ruse. I'm like, man, good for you.
I'm going to try
so
that
she paid
sometime.
me $400.
I'm going to try that sometime.
Oh, goodness. Well, the art is in the delivery.
I think, yeah.
This date, 1937, Amelia Earhart and her navigator Fred Noon are last heard over the Pacific Ocean trying to make the first equatorial round the world flight. And so they were lost somewhere over the Pacific and never to be heard from, unfortunately, again. And so that stinks for her. Yeah, rough day for Amelia Earhart.
Jerry Mock completed her flight. That's all I'm saying. My great.
Yes.
Yeah, she did it. She didn't fail.
This day, 1941, Joe DiMaggio hits a 3-run walk-off home run off Boston's Dick Newsom to pass Will Keeler.
Willie Keeler.
Yes, with what the current record was, a 44-game hit streak at that point.
That's the one that, I remember Pete then broke Wee Willie Keeler's after that when he did it. Yeah, DiMaggio's way to 56.
This day, 1966, Strangers in the Night by Frank Sinatra hits number 1.
Strangers in the night, exchanging glances, wandering in the night. What were the chances?
You knew that one, Tidoff?
Of course I knew that.
Is that like
Classic.
the theme song to Cannonball Run?
No, it's not. But he was in Cannonball Run too. Sinatra was. Yes.
You brought that up multiple times.
Yes.
This day, 1976, Chris Evert defeats Yvonne Guggenheim Cowley at Wimbledon in 3 sets, the breaker in the third to win her second of 3 Wimbledon titles.
Boy, I tell you what, that match, I just remember a lot of lobs over Yvonne's head, a lot of passing shots, return serves, and that was probably one of the happiest moments in my life up until then, beating her in such a tough situation on grass, her best surface. And again, my mom was with me. She didn't cry this time.
She, at one point, was seriously involved, as opposed to jokingly involved, I guess, with Jimmy Connors.
Oh, really?
Quite the power couple when they're both there at one of their peaks in tennis, yeah.
I heard one time that I guess he was Jim Everett was actually mistaken for Chris Everett.
Yeah, you know what? I think there's some reporters that always get that wrong. There's one reporter in particular who always got that wrong. That's right, yeah. Bet you won't say it again, Bobby.
Yeah, exactly. This date, 1988, Dirty Diana by Michael Jackson hits number 1.
She says there's no turning back. She's driving yonder. Dirty Diana. No. Dirty Diana.
That was great.
You know what? That's one of the songs I do not know all that well, and I was curious to hear it just to see if it jogged my memory. Some birthdays today. Columbus's own Dave Thomas, born on this date, 1932.
I started Wendy's with one restaurant and a philosophy. Give people a hamburger fixed the way they want it, and don't make them wait for it. Given that, why would anyone go anyplace else? We make the best hamburgers in the business. But my daughter Wendy says, Dad, people are eating more salads today. So let's make a great taco salad with lettuce and tomato covered with chili and cheese. So I said, Wendy, muchas gracias, which means that's a heck of a good idea.
I think that translates to thank you very much, but I'm not. Him, like my wife, also a rescue.
Listening, Dave was big into adoption.
Yeah.
Wendy was adopted.
Dave wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And got a chance to meet a couple of his daughters a couple months ago this winter.
Did you really?
Yeah. Listening to him talk, restaurant, I haven't heard anyone say that since my grandma.
Business.
And then business. Goodness.
Yes.
Beautiful cultural appropriation there with the taco salad as well. Like, unbelievable.
Oh, God. When Wendy's came out with the buffet.
You don't remember this, Bodie. They used to have a salad bar. Like Wendy's had a legit because they were the healthy fast food chain.
Oh, yeah.
So they had a salad bar that you could order off of.
Yeah, you could go, and then they expanded it.
Yeah.
They had pizza out there. They had pudding.
They did have. I used to go there and get a crap load of their chocolate pudding.
Yeah.
Is that part of the salad bar?
Salad bar,
yeah. Salad
That's
bar.
what it was.
It was part of the salad bar.
Did you hear Bill Burr talk about when he said that McDonald's got weak because basically when McDonald's started serving salads, they just admitted to the country, it's our fault you're fat. As opposed to they did it because they want people to be healthier.
I
it's
used to
our fault.
honestly like McDonald's salads, and
Really?
then they did away with them.
Oh, they did? I knew they did away with them.
I mean,
honestly, because I've never really ordered a salad.
I don't go to McDonald's very often, but they used to have salads there, and I used to stop and get them. Wendy's, I think, still does.
I think that, yes, they do. They do still have salads. Yes, they do have salads you can order. Yeah, because I know my wife will order salads from there. We get nuggets for the kids or whatever.
Yeah, they have decent salads. Surprising though, McDonald's. They've tried a lot of stuff over the years. Wendy's far superior product to McDonald's.
Yes.
Richard Petty turning 88 today, the 7-time NASCAR Sprint Cup champ. Larry David turning 78 years old.
What do you sit in the middle for? Why don't you move over one? Okay, or whatever you're saying, but it's a little strange. I've never seen a person sit in the middle. It's like using the middle urinal. I'm not sure if you can understand me or not. No, you go over there. No, you sit there. No, Sir, I'm supposed to go to Olympic and Hauser.
Yeah, that's easy, man. Get off at the La Cienega stop. You got a couple options.
Okay, will you tell me when that's coming up?
I'm not your babysitter. Figure it out.
This bus is a very cold, unforgiving place. I don't like it one bit.
That was pretty good. Is that you, Bodie, or did
Shark got that one.
That was good. By the way, Wendy not adopted. Dave was.
Okay.
For some reason, I thought Wendy was.
That she knows of. She might be adopted.
Someone in the chat who I know.
Oh, you know the person in the chat.
In the chat who just said that, and they went to school with her, which,
okay.
Yes. Bret the Hitman Hart, wrestler, turning 68 today, which God bless him for still being alive.
Is there one of the Harts that died?
I don't know.
Did he have a brother that was... No, I'm thinking of something.
I think he's still alive.
Okay.
The picture of him looked pretty rough, so I'm guessing he was...
He's making plans to go see the Queen.
He at least made it past 65.
Okay.
He made it to retirement. Bodie, I don't know if you know this, not a lot of professional wrestlers collect Social Security.
I can't say I'm shocked.
They don't make it there.
The rough lifestyle.
But one of the Buckeyes' own turning 64, about a year behind Sharky, Clark Kellogg.
Could I have your attention, please? Indiana picks 6'7", 215-pound forward from Ohio State, Clark Kellogg.
You probably weren't as excited about your college career as you might have been coming out of high school, probably the most heralded player in the country, but yet you became the MVP in the Big Ten last year. You're ready for the pros?
I think I am. I had an outstanding year last year, and I think our team did a little better than people thought we were going to do. So I'm looking forward to the challenge of the NBA.
Bobby Knight, who has made news already today, we've quoted him once before, said that Clark Kellogg is perhaps the best power forward in the country. You ready to live up to those kind of plaudits?
I'd sure like to try.
This may become an avocation, even though I'm sure you're going to give it your best shot. You became an insurance agent at age 18. How's that working out?
It's going pretty well. I haven't had a lot of time this summer to really concentrate on that because of the draft and making this transition, but I think I'm going to pursue that during the offseason of my professional career and also after pro ball.
Knee injury got him also in the NBA.
I was going to say, I was wondering what it was because I was looking at his stats yesterday. In the first 3 or 4 years, I mean, he was damn near 20 a game.
Yeah, he was 20 and 10 kind of guy.
Yeah,
his knee injury for him. He used to, Bodie, always, when he was shooting free throws, before he'd shoot it, he'd throw the ball up in the air and catch it a little bit, then throw it up 3 or 4 feet above him and then catch it and then shoot the free throw. And then one time in a game when he was in college, I think it was, he threw it up like that, and a guy on the line tried to steal it and take it down for another layup and the ref said, no, you can't do that. But he thought because Clark was throwing it up in the air, he could.
He thought that constituted.
He thought that counted. Yes.
Well, if you don't hit the rim, it's a dead ball anyway.
Yeah, right.
That guy's an idiot.
Right. He's an.
I mean, I'm just being real.
You're right. No, that's fair.
You learn that when you're in third grade.
Yeah.
If they don't hit the rim, whether it's the backboard or nothing, they stop the clock and the opposing team gets it out of bounds.
That was the one part of Clark Kellogg's game I could emulate.
The toss.
The tossing in the air.
So Bobby Knight didn't say you were potentially the best power forward.
He did not. That's the one part. If I wanted to imitate Clark Kellogg on the court, that's the one thing I could do like Clark Kellogg.
Maybe, I don't know how much you could emulate by this guy hitting 462 home runs. Turning 61 today, Mr. Jose Canseco.
And now with 2 down, the biggest confrontation of the night. The base is loaded, and Jose Canseco. And there's a drive to center. Back goes Shelby to the wall. It is gone. Grand slam home run for Jose Canseco.
And look where he hit it. Over the center field fence, a line drive. It didn't get up, it didn't get down, it just got out.
Jose Canseco makes Tommy Lasorda sit quietly, and that's quite a trick. It took a grand slam home run to do it. And did he ever smoke it? The forearm bash. And it is 4-2 Oakland here in the second inning. And this big crowd suddenly stunned as Dave Parker checks in.
There we go. Have you read Juiced, Bidoff?
I have not, but I've followed it in the news.
It was 20 years ago.
I'm saying what happened. I followed it in the news. I didn't read it.
It's a good read. Entertaining. You would like it, Bodie.
All right. Add it to the list.
Add it to the list. Troy Brown, 3-time Super Bowl champ of the Patriots, starting at 54 years young. Sean Casey, career .302 batting average, 40 time of 6.5 seconds. One of the most unathletic guys I've ever seen play professional sports. Turning 51 today.
Yeah, speaking of unathletic events.
Yes.
He hit the ball to left field one time, and still got thrown out at first base.
55-minute rain delay pushed this game back. Hasn't altered their game plan. Hard hit ball. Creedy gets up, but can't come down with it. Casey didn't know. He didn't catch it. The throw by Ozuna. Got it! Oh, yes! What a play by Pablo Ozuna in left field. You won't see that happen here at the big leagues probably ever again.
It's the first time I've ever seen it. There you see. Tracy, now he recognizes his mistake.
So did he keep running or not?
He hit it, and either the third baseman or shortstop went off the top of his glove, and he thought he caught it. So Casey stopped. The ball trickled into left field, and then all of a sudden he tried to get down the first base line, and he was out by a mile.
He's not very fast. His running form was so
not.
bad. Chad Henne, former Michigan quarterback.
Unathletic.
Well, except for that game against the Browns a few years ago.
That's true.
Good thing Shark wasn't here to be reminded of that. 3rd and 14. Getting about 12 of them back. Turning 40 today. Alex Morgan, former striker for the U.S. women's national team, turning 36. Margot Robbie, also turning 36 years young.
So I was,
oh gosh,
a little surprised you asked Christy for my number.
What is that?
Aren't you married?
Yeah, but what? Married people can't have friends?
I'm gonna be friends.
Yeah. You want to be my friend?
We're not gonna be friends.
Wake up, you piece of shit. Ow! Who's Venice? Huh? Who? What are you, a fucking owl? Who is she? I don't know. Some little hooky you were fucking last night?
What the f*** are you talking about? No way, baby, no.
You were calling her name in your sleep.
Are you out of your fucking mind? I don't even know who Venice is. What the f*** does that even mean, Venice?
I've seen that clip.
You haven't seen
Heck of
Wolf
a
of Wall
movie.
Street?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Get the family around one night.
I don't know if it's a family movie. That and then the clip, I was curious if he was going to then splice in the one where they're in the kids' playroom.
I was going to, but it was too long.
Was
I was already at 45 seconds, and I was like, you know what? This would be like a minute plus.
Oh, it's so great. It is so great. Well, yeah, I mean, the amount of beeps you had to throw in there, Bodie, was
Yeah, I double and triple checked that one.
There is a lot there. It's a pretty aggressive movie, and that's a pretty aggressive scene. But well done with that out of you. We also have Ryan Murphy, 5-time Olympic gold medalist, turning 30 years young today. And Jimmy Stewart passing away on this date, 1997. Some holidays, observances. It's I Forgot Day, Made in the USA Day. Second half of the year day as we push forward. World Sports Journalist Day and World UFO Day. And those are your historical events, your birthdays, your passings, your holidays, observances for this date, July 2nd, a Wednesday, 183rd day of the year, and we're running downhill with 182 left. And the first day of Bodie being on here as well.
It is. Well done as always, General. By the way, Bodie, for you, I'm going to say this. Morning Juice is sponsored by Riverside Bank in Dublin and Event Risk Elite Protection. Thank you to those guys for doing that with us. Coming up next, it is one commissioner made his case for more auto bids in the CFP. We'll do that next. Morning Juice.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Around the world, Children International and friends like you are giving children in poverty a chance to grow and thrive, to be healthy, to succeed in school, and achieve great things. How do we do it? In the best way possible, by helping ensure access to healthcare, nutrition, and educational opportunities. And most importantly, by empowering youths and their families to get out of poverty and into employment through life skills, computer, and job training. The very tools they need to break the cycle of poverty and build futures full of promise. Because every child deserves a chance to realize their full and best potential. Learn more about how Children International is empowering children and families by going to children.org today. That's children.org.
If you're looking for the inside scoop on the Buckeyes, you've come to the right place. This is Morning Juice.
Indeed, it is Morning Juice. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to the juicers in the chat. We appreciate that as well. Always love communicating with you that way. We learned from you, like the Wendy thing, or I learned about how
Owen Hart passed away.
Owen Hart
Not
passed
Brett
away.
Hitman, but his
Not
brother
the
Owen.
Hitman, the other one did.
And then you guys got in a nice little wedding, or a nice little wrestling talk from the late 80s, early 90s.
And as I'm doing that, Bob,
marrying his sister and different things.
I wondered about now, because I just assumed that because Owen and Brett both had the last name, they were related. I don't know if they really were. I mean, I know they say that, but something I've learned as I've gotten older is some of that wrestling stuff's not real.
You think it might be fabricated a little bit?
I'm thinking it could be part of a storyline. I'm
saying
not sure.
It's not real. I would say saying it's scripted is different than being not real.
It'd be like Red Panda having a motorized unicycle. Same thing, kind of fake. Tony Petitti.
Red Panda falling is part of her act.
You know what? That's
just building it in, you know?
I like where you're thinking there, Bob. That very well could be just to get sympathy. Because honestly, when's the last time we talked about Red Panda on Morning Juice?
I think we've probably brought her up before, but it's been a minute.
Do you think, and by the way, I'll wait till you finish drinking that water because I don't want you to spit it out. It's going to be such a funny thing I say.
Listen,
I'm going to say something really funny. Do you think she was just pandering?
Oh, my.
Tony Petitti, it's a good thing I made you wait. Tony Petitti wants to see the CFP when he talked about he likes to see the auto bids for the Big Ten. He is in favor of that. And one of the reasons he likes this, Bob, he was on Joel Klatt's podcast talking about this yesterday, I think it was. Anyway, maybe last week, Bob.
I think it was Monday.
Okay, it was Monday. You're right, it was Monday. Okay. So he was saying that one of the reasons why he thinks they should have 4 auto bids in the Big Ten, it will encourage better non-conference games if a team knows, as long as they're top 4 in the Big Ten, they're automatically getting in, and it will hopefully, in theory, it would result in more games like Ohio State, Texas, Ohio State, Bama coming up here in the next couple of years. And he thinks that it will be better for the fans. Do you agree with his idea do you agree with the thought of having the 4 Big Ten auto bids, and do you believe it would also enhance non-conference scheduling?
So I'm generally opposed to the auto bids.
Right.
If you want to say conference champ gets in, I think that's appropriate. I don't like the auto buys that they got this year, which when you go to 16, just seed them how they get in.
Yeah.
If you want to make certain that a conference champ gets in, I can be down with that. I understand what he's saying in this sense, especially where the SEC, they only play 8 games. And this is where now I think he had talked with Greg Sankey, and I think Greg Sankey was on board because he's like, all right, the auto bids, that sounds good. I mean, I can get down with that. This will ensure that we always get at least 4 teams. I'm like, well, in theory, the SEC, at least 4, you should feel like you should be able to get maybe 5
right.
if you go to 16. And their coaches, I think Greg Sankey liked it. The coaches didn't. They wanted the 5 and 11. Put the 5 in and get 11 at large. And I think when they were putting this together, Greg Sankey, there's going to be I'm doing off-camp or full ride all week with New Eisel. And he was saying, I think there'll be a reckoning here in 2030 or 31, whenever the TV deal's up.
Right.
Of basically a mega conference. He's like, they're going to realize that this is how it's going to go, and there'll be one last big push. And Rick talks to a lot of people about this stuff. Because I think this was the Big Ten and SEC trying to work together, and as part of it, we'll give you the auto bids. The SEC goes to 9 games. Mm-hmm. Everybody plays 9. And then they're going to have kind of that Big Ten SEC type challenge where try to set up a lot of scheduling, which I think that would be great for the game.
Yeah.
See a lot of those big games early in the season. So, like, if you're telling me you're going to give me that, I could probably come off of my stance of not liking the auto bids as much if you're going to give me something on the front end of the season that's going to be better. And then they also are, like, the argument for the auto bids is it's more money.
Sure.
Because
which is the most important thing.
That is. I mean, listen, Bodie, it's like, what's his name? Who's Mike Tyson's promoter?
Don King.
Don King. Yeah. I'm not into white. I'm not into black. I'm into green.
That's right.
That's what it is. It's like they're like, oh, we could have the Big Ten championship game. That makes us a lot of money, 1 versus 2. Well, if we're going to get 2 more teams automatically, and we'll play 3, 6, and 4, 5.
Oh yeah.
Right, yeah.
Give you more.
Why not?
Why not give you more?
Why not have a Big Ten tournament, 1 versus 18,
yes.
2 versus 17?
We'll
Let's
have
go,
our own
man.
tournament to get into the tournament.
Yes.
And we can just have more. We'll have more inventory.
Go to one site. Game starting at 9 a.m. all the way
just
until
like
midnight.
Basketball.
Yes.
Get them over at Indy. Start playing at noon.
December
we'll go
Madness.
Noon, 4 and 8. There we go.
We are headed, Bobby, towards the Super Conference, I believe, also, and I think that it'll be an NFL type.
It's the reckoning, is what Rick called it.
Okay, it's I think we are headed towards that with probably like a 60-team kind of thing, and it'll be like.
You think it'll be that big?
I think it'll be that big.
Why?
I do. Because I think there's enough schools you make arguments for being worthy.
Who is
of
making those arguments, and who determines their worth?
I think the Power 4 conferences will all try to get their entire conferences in. How many teams would that be?
Who's saying that the ACC and Big 12 will have the same degree of say of who gets in?
They might not, Bob, but I think there will be some sentiment involved to get them in. Because, again, it will be more money.
Hear my previous statement that I made?
I did. I heard it.
There'll be more money, but here's the thing. When you have more hands out, that money has to be divided.
More.
You understand what the divisor is, the number on the bottom.
I get it, but
the bigger that number is, the less individual dollars each team gets.
But why did the Big Ten go to 18?
Because I think they saw an opportunity then to pinch off a lot, and they could literally skim the cream off of the top. And by the way, Oregon and Washington not getting a full share.
Not getting a full share. They will eventually, though. Like, if things keep going, they'll get eventually.
Because they're a value add.
Right.
But they weren't going to say, hey, I know that now that the Pac-12's falling apart, we're going to do you a solid. And we're going to give you the same deal we gave UCLA.
No, I know. But also, the reason the Big Ten expanded, foolishly now looking back, I think, with Rutgers and Maryland.
They wanted
to. It's a money. That's why I'm saying that's
why
we
got to get the New York market, too.
Right, that is huge.
Ohio State already got. Here's the problem. Ohio State was probably more in Penn State or more of a draw in New Jersey, New York.
Michigan, too, I'm sure.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, the 4 teams that I always hear people talk about on the East Coast, because my parents used to live in Jersey. One of our friends, good friends, went to Ohio State, and I asked him, how did you end up here? Like, why this? He's like, I was an Ohio State fan. I'm like, how are you an Ohio State fan? He's like, watched Archie Griffin on TV.
Yeah.
I'm like, think you're watching Rutgers? He's like, you grew up in Jersey. He's like, you're a Notre Dame fan, Ohio State fan, maybe Michigan, Penn State, maybe a little bit, but not as much in like the 70s, more in the 80s when Joe Paul really kind of had it rolling. He's like, those were your teams. Let's talk about Rutgers over there. You You go back to Vince Lombardi and Fordham. I mean, like the teams in Jersey,
Birthplace of college football,
right?
Yeah, we can argue that,
Supposedly.
but you can argue all those things. But I mean, the people there, they watch big brands, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Michigan. So they're like, oh, we need to get the TV markets. It was a foolish, short-sighted thought by Jim Delaney, because he's like, well, there's TVs over there. Well, yeah, but then, and if he would have probably done some market research, they would have told him in 10 years, the cable buys are not going to look the same as they do now. But he, I think, just saw the dollars and saw the opportunity, and we can have the Big Ten basketball tournament in Barclays.
Right.
And stuff like that. Like, dude, if we're going to go, can we at least get MSG?
Right, exactly.
Barclays is nicer because
Right.
it's newer, but MSG is more iconic. That's where the Big East plays. So they wouldn't give it to them.
For those of you that play the home game and are listening today, if you had Bobby saying the words Notre Dame before Bodie, put an X on that one, because I really thought that's one of the bigger upsets.
I said Notre Dame.
I understand, but
Schlegel says Notre Dame.
Yeah, but that's a huge
Except
upset.
He's from Minnesota or something.
Guys, you're going to find out, if you don't know already, Bodie is a Notre Dame fan and a Dallas Cowboys fan.
And the Boston Celtics fan.
Well, I'm a Celtics fan, so I'm not going to besmirch that. But anyway, the fact he's a Notre Dame and Dallas fan, don't hold that against him. It's a character flaw, but don't hold those against him, because as you get to know Bodie, you will find he's got much bigger character flaws you can hate him for. But those two are minor on the surface on that one. All right, coming up next, look, we're going to throw him right into the fire. He's got his headphones working. Quick hitters next.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. I know what it's like to be stuck in that cycle of pain where you're trying to get better. You keep going to the doctor, steroid shots, surgeries. Do not go down that road anymore. Go see my friends at QC Kinetics. They will help treat you without going under the knife and without the meds. QC Kinetics are the leaders in regenerative medicine to help your body heal itself. And I should know, I've been a client there, and they helped me with my knee get back to the running in the summer and going whitewater rafting and all of the things that you enjoy. And this is the critical part about my friends with QC. 92% of patients report satisfaction with their results. That's peace of mind. It's not just a number. They're trying to help you. They're the second opinion that you're looking for to keep you from getting under the knife. To find out if you're a good candidate, go check them out at qckinetics.com/Columbus. The consultation is free, or call 380-2845-44. That's 380-2845-44. They have offices all over Central Ohio. So go check them out.
Yo, I'm your old basketball. Haven't seen you out on the courts in a while. Why not pass me over to Goodwill? Donating me helps Goodwill's mission to provide career training and support services right here in the community. And that's a slam dunk. Donate today. Hey, I got next.
To find your nearest Goodwill locations and to learn more about our mission, please visit goodwill.org. Goodwill, where your things start new lives.
I thought mixing bleach with my floor cleaner would take the stain out.
When my youngest ate the dog's medicine, that was a new one.
I was trying to protect my garden, but I accidentally sprayed myself with pesticide.
So I called 1-800-222-1222, the poison helpline.
A poison expert helped me figure out what to do next.
I was connected to someone who spoke Spanish.
They answered my questions.
It was free.
It was confidential.
It was real help in real time.
Keep the poison experts in your pocket. 1-800-222-1222.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit OutdoorStewards.org.
Bobby's knees hurt from doing battle with some of football's toughest warriors. Tito's knees hurt from begging Bobby to let him host this show.
Oh, pick me! Oh, I know!
I know, me.
This is Morning Juice.
Morning Juice. Bob, it dawned on me what happened just a little bit ago. And I made the joke I always make about, adoption. Not a joke in a bad way. I call my wife a rescue. We talked about Dave Thomas being that. And it's shortly after that.
Yeah, it's so endearing. Everybody probably loves that.
It's not. I'm sure that, look. And my phone rang right after that. And it was my father-in-law calling me. And if you say stupid stuff sometimes, it could be offensive on the radio that might hurt some people's feelings. You might get some backlash. And so I wondered if he was calling me about that. But then I remembered he never listens to me on the air. So then it couldn't be that reason. Thankfully, it wasn't that reason. But
that's good.
So I dodged it.
Doesn't even know what you do.
He really doesn't. He knows I'm a snake oil salesman. All right, Bodie, let's do some quick hitters.
Morning Juice presents Quick Hitters.
Sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping,
Start
call
snoring.
Dr. Mark Levy today at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP.
All right, Bodie, what you got for us
Guys,
today, buddy?
we will start with college basketball. The Ohio State men's basketball program is set to, let me fade that out. Probably going to take me a few days to remember to do that. I'm not going to lie to you. The Ohio State men's basketball program is set to do something this season that they have not done in 25 years. They're going to play a non-conference game in the month of February. This upcoming season, Jake Diebler and the Buckeyes will face Virginia on Valentine's Day, February 14th of 2026. It'll be their first non-conference game in the month of February since Ohio State played Alabama on February 17th, 2001. The Buckeyes did lose that game 85-67, so hopefully it goes a little bit better for them this time. The game will be played at a neutral site, one that is supposed to be somewhere in the middle of the two schools. Nashville is under consideration there per CBS Sports. CBS Sports also has the Cavaliers as a fringe top 25 team early on here. So, Bobby, this could be a nice late resume boost for Ohio State, of course, assuming they can get the win.
I always say it's like having a gun. It only works if you know how to use it. If you Plexico burst yourself, it doesn't. It's not really on your side. It's not a self-defense weapon at that point. It's something that will inflict harm on you. And so this game could maybe cut both ways like that. Could be a nice resume boost. Could be a dagger in the side that finishes you off. But I'm going to be on the positive side here. And I'm excited. This is something unique. You said they've never played a non-conference game in the month of February?
01.
First time since 2001.
Okay, so 20 plus years. Yeah, since before I was even in school. So it's been quite a while. I like it. Little novelty, break up the monotony of the Big Ten season. Said Valentine's Day is correct. There we go.
Hey. It's Nashville, Bob. It feels like
Virginia is for lovers.
If they play it in Nashville, though, like they're talking about doing, that could be like a date, a Valentine's Day date for you in court.
My wife doesn't want to go on dates with me anymore.
Go to Nashville. Well, no, I know. No.
And she doesn't really like to travel with me either. So
other than that, though, it sounds like a great plan.
It really does.
I'm excited about
Virginia's for lovers.
I'm with you on that.
Do you think that's why they're doing this?
It's perfect.
My brother-in-law had a shirt that had said Virginia's for lovers. He would wear it all the time.
They should. You know what they should do? They should play it in Hartsville, Alabama. Right?
Robbie, Hartsville, Alabama.
Because I'm not going to do this with you. You already told me where I missed that one. But yes, I'm excited about this. I like the idea of breaking it up a little bit too, as opposed to just going straight through this Big Ten schedule without anything in between there. I hope they do this on a more regular basis with somebody. Find an ACC or an SEC school and try to play them on a neutral site thing and a neutral location and play these games. But yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm excited about Ohio State basketball this year. I'm always excited about Ohio State basketball.
Tito.
In July.
Easy.
I'm always excited about
it. I think they've done some good
things.
Me too. Diebler was up. He played. I don't know if he played, but he spoke at the baseball NIL golf outing that we had on Monday.
Right.
And so it's great to see like the coaches supporting each other with Coach Hare up there as well. So that was fun. But I think Jake's doing a good job. I mean, it's his first year. It's a lot of turmoil.
Sure.
Your two big players that you got out of the portal, both of them were underwhelming.
One was invisible.
One disappeared.
Right.
Quit on you.
Yes.
Basically, we can call it what it is here. And then the other one was just not very good. It was hurt for a while, sick, then just not as good as you wanted. So I think they leaned into more production than potential, and this team should be a lot better.
Yeah, it's one of those things you can check the height of a guy, but you can't measure the heart. and Bradshaw never rebounded. But anyway.
Other than that.
How do you define toughness in basketball? If you listen to Schlegelisms, defense and rebounding.
Defense and rebounding.
Box
there you
them
go.
out the gym. This is the line.
I'm excited about this team, and I hope that they've learned from their missteps last year in the transfer portal. And I think they have. Having Thornton back's huge. I think this team, I know like every year around this time, they are a fringe top 25 team. But I think this year they're legitimately that. I've got high expectations for this team. And, the NCAA tournament's got to happen this year, though, for this squad. It's been too long.
Plexico Bursa's son, Elijah, true freshman for your Fighting Irish. He was showing some flashes in spring, so they say. Next up in the NBA, look, you guys both said Notre Dame. I was the third to say it, so there's mine. I had to get to it. We'll switch to the NBA here, and what is, in my estimation, the second biggest move of the NBA offseason. The Milwaukee Bucks are waiving Damian Lillard and stretching the remainder of his $113 million contract in order to sign Miles Turner to a 4-year deal worth $107 million. The Bucks will now have $22.5 million on the books for each of the next 5 seasons by stretching Lillard's deal. He is currently rehabbing from a torn Achilles injury that he suffered just a few months ago here in the postseason. And now they're adding the starting center from the Eastern Conference winner, Indiana Pacers. They were a game away from winning the NBA championship. Tito, personally, I feel this is kind of just reshuffling the chairs on the Titanic for Milwaukee. What say you?
Yeah, but they got better.
They're better.
Because Lillard wasn't going to play this year.
Exactly. And Turner's good.
And you took the Pacers.
But that's true, too. I think with Milwaukee, though, it's just like, I mean, what do you went from, I don't know, the 6th best team in the East to the 4th? Yeah.
They've got to make another move. They need to make a move now, and they don't have a ton of flexibility to do it, but they've got to get a guard. And I don't know, maybe Chris Paul's the answer, something like that.
Nice.
Chris Paul's 80 years old.
I understand that, but Chris Paul might be walking through that door.
Joe Lewis is 100 years old. I mean, that's like what. So you just brought up, a guy that's about my age.
That's fair, Bobby. That's fair. I'm just trying to think of a reasonably
Chris
priced.
Paul might be 40.
I think you're probably right about that.
He was in the 05 draft, and 04 or 05, and he played a few years at Wake Forest, didn't he?
He did. I think he was a junior when he came out at Wake Forest.
I think he was legit my age.
He's not 40.
Yeah. He's a young 40, though.
Yeah,
fresh legs.
Look at him. He's baby-faced.
He is 40 years old as of May 6th.
All right.
He is a young 40.
He is a year behind me.
He's barely. He's
he got to Wake Forest in 03. I got to Ohio State in 02. I'm going to say that we're basically the same age.
He's a short-term answer. I'm not saying long-term, but they need a guard. I'm trying to think of reasonably priced guards that are chasing rings.
Okay. I don't think people come to the Juice to listen to Milwaukee Bucks breakdown on what they need roster-wise.
Well, that's what you get, though, Bob. It's a new day. Let me tell you this, by the way. Dame Lillard, you might think, is bothered by Dame Lillard's excited. First, he gets his full $113 million.
Oh, yeah.
But now
he can sign wherever
he wants to sign. It's now all out there in the open for him. And so he's rehabbing, and he'll get a chance to pick his team next to one he wants to go to.
And his 2 years there was just a complete disaster. It just did not work.
Did not work. And I think Lillard's a great player. But yes, Lillard, though this works out well for him, it's all about trying to keep Giannis happy so he doesn't leave. That's what they're trying to do.
Bob, what the people do come to the Juice for is this right here. Because following his win Saturday this past weekend over former middleweight champion Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., the World Boxing Association has ranked social media influencer turned professional boxer Jake Paul at number 14. That makes him now eligible to challenge WBA cruiserweight champion Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. Zurdo's the nickname there for him, for a world championship. Bobby, here's to hoping we can get that Paul Ramirez fight sooner than later.
So you're telling me he's going to fight an actual boxer now that's
I believe that is correct.
Well, he's eligible to now.
He's eligible to.
That's in his prime.
I think that's correct.
Yes.
So we're not fighting Joe
Tyson.
Lewis.
No, we're not. Yes. Nope. Yeah, he is now, Bobby, he's now ranked by the WBA. So now he is.
I will give, this is Jake Paul, right?
Yes.
Not Logan.
Not Chris Paul.
Or Chris Paul. Do you think he's the
Chris
third Paul brother?
Could be a featherweight, yes. He's a featherweight.
That's a great question. Is Chris Paul the third Paul brother?
Today's fan poll.
Yes. Oh, that's right. You got to do that. That's a good one there. Who cares about that other stuff? Just do it now. Yes, that's a good one.
But Jake Paul, I will give him credit. He actually is structurally a pretty decent boxer. The guy works pretty hard. He's in good shape. I'm curious to see if he actually boxed somebody real in their prime.
Yeah.
What that would look like. Maybe it looks better than what I'm hoping. I just can't imagine someone that was a patsy most of his life, all of a sudden, I was trying to find a term that I thought described it that was appropriate without...
No dumb button over here. Go ahead, remember.
That described it, but he's eligible.
Right.
Let's give the people what they want. A lot of people, I've tuned in every time to watch him get his butt kicked.
Right.
So it's a little bit like Notre Dame or the Yankees or whatever. No, like you love them or hate them.
Oh, okay.
Although Bill Bender has told us that Marcus Freeman has made them a likable school.
I know. It's honestly maybe his most impressive feat.
That he,
not the Georgia win, not the Penn State win. The fact that there are neutral
Yes.
people out there that are like, you know what, Notre Dame, not
Seems like
the
a nice
worst
guy,
thing in the world.
I like this guy.
I love him.
But Jake Paul not doing that.
No.
And I will tune in again. I will be swindled out of another $90 to watch him get his butt kicked. But if he's fighting someone real, then that might be worth it.
That's what I don't care if he fights a champ. I just want to see him fight like a top 10 fighter in that weight class. That's all I need to see. I don't need to see him go for a championship because I think that would end. But I think they'll both end poorly for Jake Paul. But this right here would certainly, I think, if he gets in the ring with somebody who's a legit top 10 contender, I think he gets his ass handed to him on that one. So, and by the way, speaking of upsets, how shocked are you, Bob, on a scale of 1 to 10, that we had Schlegs on yesterday for the bulk of this first hour, right?
Yeah,
and
he was on 2 segments.
Yeah, he did. He did his
came
normal,
in, and then he did his normal
Yep.
one from 7 to 7:20, and was on like another at some point before that.
How shocked are you?
Then he didn't show up to the retirement dinner last night.
No, I wasn't surprised by that, but that we never had a language incident, and he used incorrect language sometimes and used it in the wrong terms, but we never had to have like a oh my God, I can't believe Schlegel said that word. We don't have a dump button. How surprised you that we had no incidents like that?
Not crazy, because he can keep it together when you make him. He
Okay.
just likes to, I don't know why, because Schlegel's never been someone that curses a lot, and then he just randomly dropped this crap out here. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Get it together. You're making Shark's job harder.
And that's why Shark left.
And that's why Shark quit.
And by the way, people don't know this, and now we can say it because it's out in the open. Shark actually got fired. That's just something we've been playing this up about the whole retirement thing, but he actually was let go, and reasons we can't really disclose on the air here. Maybe we'll do a podcast and tell you all the reasons behind it. But that move was not something. That move was forced. It was not.
Well, after all the years of
optional.
me exposing his Soviet love, he's been investigated by the CIA for the last 2 years.
There's some reasons behind it, but we can't get into that right now. All right, coming up next, big NFL trade on Monday. There was another domino fell from that yesterday. We'll discuss that next. Morning Juice.
Delaware County Veterans Services, here for those who served. Located on the ground floor of the historic courthouse in downtown Delaware, our team of veteran county veteran service officers is ready to help you access VA benefits, emergency financial assistance, dental and medical grants, transportation, and more. Need a ride to a VA appointment? Facing a financial emergency? Are you or your spouse simply looking for answers? Then give Delaware County Veterans Services a call. 740-833-2010 to schedule an appointment. Delaware County Veterans Services.
You know a thing or two about the moments in life that matter. You've seized those moments to embrace joy, accomplish great things, and build meaningful relationships. Is it time now to sit back and reflect on a life well lived? Maybe. Or maybe there's more to be done. Maybe this is the most important moment you've encountered yet. By volunteering with AmeriCorps Seniors, you can seize the moment, lend a hand, and get back more than you give. We connect you to local volunteer organizations with opportunities that fit your schedule and match your interests. Through AmeriCorps Seniors, you can support people in times of need and make your community stronger. You can become a companion to your older neighbors, brightening their days with friendship. You can even become a mentor for young people, serving as a role model and enriching their lives. Are you ready to seize your moment? Visit AmeriCorps.gov/yourmoment and get started today.
Wrinkles, gray hair, and hearing loss are common signs of getting older.
But being short of breath, having tightness in your chest, coughing and wheezing are not. If you are experiencing these symptoms, you may be one of the millions of people who are living with a condition called COPD but don't know it. Early diagnosis and treatment can add years of better breathing to your life. For more information, talk to your doctor and visit copdfoundation.org today.
Imagine home. The smell of coffee, the sound of a lawnmower, the sun's warmth on your face. Free to be yourself, surrounded by love that helps you grow. This is a place to call home. That's an American dream we all deserve. But in 50% of U.S. states, you could legally be denied housing if you are LGBTQ+. Get the facts and hear real stories at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Proud to be your go-to sports addiction.
WBNS, WBNS FM, HD3 Columbus.
The Fan 3, Ohio sports destination. One man is a national champion, NFL veteran, and local business leader. The other man is Tito. This is Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Here's Bobby and Tito.
Morning Juice. Bobby, Tito, Bodie. On the other side of the fake glass here that we don't have really in place anymore. Bobby, if I gave you a number, and I'm not I don't like bringing our business here at work out into the street. We're supposed to be just a fun show that doesn't worry about anything. But if I told you 9,490, do you know what that number represents?
9,490. Is there any contextual clue you can give me?
It has to do with someone on this show.
What, days to retirement?
Days to retirement for Bodie. We are 9,490 days away. So, I only put that out there, Bob.
Way to wish your life away, Bode.
Tito, I'll be dead before I retire.
Listen, I only put that out there because I think it's never too early. I'm a Boy Scout. Be prepared, right? You know that about me.
Scout.
You know that about me, Bob. I think it's important that we start thinking about the next producer of Morning Juice.
Coach, I'll be long
No, don't say that. Look, I'll be 80 and, whatever. I'm saying when we
assuming you make it.
Well, that's fine.
You'll
That's fine.
be born 80 years prior.
Bobby, if I pass away before that, then at least I've put some work in to keep you going with this show. So just start. Next producer might not be born yet, but just if you have friends that have kids that look like they may have potential, just think about that because Bodie's not going to be around forever. We learned that with Shark.
Can I ask you a favor, Tito?
Please, go ahead.
If I get a retirement video,
yes,
it doesn't have to be all of these guys.
Yeah.
But instead of Tressel,
I'll get you Marcus.
Well, Marcus would be number one, of course.
Right.
But also maybe George O'Leary, Bob Davey.
We'll do that.
Dave Campo, Jason Garrett.
Listen, Bodie. I'm going to congratulate you.
I think when I retire, I do think Lou's going to be gone.
Maybe we get Skip Holtz. We'll get Skip Holtz. Okay, we'll do that one. And we'll also get Tony Rice. Tony Rice would be a good one, right?
He might be gone, too, unfortunately, by the time I retire.
Might be the Queen. Yes, that's very possible. Tim Brown. Another one. Yeah, might
He's
be gone.
He's not going
to
be dead by then.
In 9,490 days?
40 years.
Yeah,
how old is
right.
Tim Brown?
He's probably 50.
Yeah, it's look. Notre Dame guys live longer though. Well, except for the Gip guy. Everyone else still lives.
And Rockney.
Right, Rockney and Gip, they die, but the other ones seem to hang on. Bob, there was a big trade in the NFL. We didn't talk about it yesterday because it was Shark Day yesterday. The Pittsburgh Steelers acquired Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith. Gave up Minka Fitzpatrick to the Dolphins. There was also like a minor pick swap in there as well. And then after that, the Dolphins need a tight end. So yesterday, Darren Waller unretires, and the Giants trade his rights to the Dolphins, who then signed him to a 1-year deal there.
That had to be in the works. They had to know that.
You would think they'd have to know that, yes.
Is he still rapping?
I don't know if he is or not.
Okay.
That's a good question. That's a great
hanging
question.
Up the mic for the
yeah,
cleats.
I might be doing that. Yeah.
All right.
But so Waller, who was great with the Raiders and then awful with the Giants, goes to Miami.
Do you know where he started? What team he started on?
What team he started on? No, I don't know.
These are the Ravens.
Oh, he was? I didn't know.
Yeah, when they were on Hard Knocks. That was when he still had some serious substance abuse issues. Got clean, was good. He's got to be getting old now. I mean, I bet he's 30-something.
The fact you said he's getting old and he's 30.
Getting old relative to the NFL.
I know, I got you. I got you on that one. I'm saying it kind of jarred me for a second there to think that. Waller's 32.
32. So it's a short-term fix, but
fresh legs, though.
Yeah, you're right.
Legs.
Rest versus rust. I don't know.
His rap game coming strong. I mean,
he signed back when he was with the Raiders. Over 2 seasons, he had 197 catches, 2,341 yards, 12 touchdowns, and they gave him a 3-year, $51 million extension. Then they traded him to the Giants the following year. He played 1 season for the Giants and then retired. And now he said he missed football, and that's why he came back to the game. Okay, go ahead.
It just the Giants weren't winning and they weren't good. And a lot of times things aren't fun when you're not good.
Especially
if you don't like the coach, you just were traded there. Maybe he didn't want to go to New York. He may have liked Vegas.
Yeah.
And then it's like, hey, you're going to do this. I know you didn't sign this deal here. And all right, well, I'm good. I'll just retire.
Do you believe the Steelers got better?
You know, it's interesting. I looked at that. I was like, Minkah Fitzpatrick is a good player.
He was.
Still is.
Yes, you're right. Sorry. R.I.P. No, he still is.
Cougar was a good man. Yeah. Still is.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. I got that one. That was good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad. I watched most of Maverick last night. My daughter and her friends had it on, so I was like, all right, you know what?
Oh, Bob, don't do that.
What?
It's got to be one of the greatest movies ever made.
But just
like top 3, top 4 at least.
It's very good.
Let her and her friends watch. So
no,
were you hovering over?
No, I didn't sit there and watch.
Okay, we said they were watching it, and you watched it also. That's why I figured.
I went upstairs and watched it in our.
Okay, there we go. That's the vision I had in my mind. Go
and
ahead.
they had some. I was cleaning up our kitchen, and they had it on, and then I went upstairs and. Whatever, you think I'm going to hang out with 8 freshman girls?
I could see.
I know a bunch of 14-year-old girls that can punch harder than Dwight. You know a bunch of 14-year-old girls.
Exactly.
No, listen, I'm not saying it was a creep. I'm saying just let the girls have their
guys
fun.
Want some popcorn? Let me sit down here in the middle.
I'm just saying, let them go.
Come on.
All right, that's my fault. Go ahead. Finish your thought there. I'm sorry.
I didn't know. I went upstairs and finished watching it. What were we talking? I don't even know.
Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Oh,
of course. 14-year-old girls, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and Top Gun.
I'm thinking like he's a good player still. Now, like, did they just have more corner? Do they need more corner help than maybe safety help at this point? I guess. I mean, they did get Jalen Ramsey, still a pretty locked down guy. You got Jonnu Smith. Maybe you need a tight end as well. I guess that this works. I mean, we'll have to see though. But it was just kind of peculiar trade because you're trading, a safety for a corner and a tight end. That 2 years ago you would have said that like those guys are probably on a level platitude.
Yeah.
So I don't know like if Miami just wanted to be done with him, and maybe there's a part of that too. Ironically, like this is where Minkah Fitzpatrick was drafted, so he's going back to the team that drafted him, 7-8 years ago. So, I mean, we'll kind of see. It feels like they are better off to see how their safety play looks this year. But if they needed more corner help, well, they definitely got that.
Yeah, I think that's the key there is they got more. I think they got more flexibility back there in the defensive backfield. And the Jonnu Smith thing, he was great the end of last season. Like this last half, especially of last season with Miami, he was really good. And the fact that they haven't added like a number 2 receiver really in free agency or the draft to put with DK Metcalf leads me to believe they're going to run a lot of.
That they're bringing back Antonio Brown?
Yes, that'd be great. That they are they're going to use Smith a lot as a number 2 receiver in some ways. And look,
I want to see him and Cam Hayward go at it.
I love Freiermuth, but I think that Smith is a better receiver.
Freiermuth's pretty good.
He is good. But I just see with Rodgers, he's going to throw a lot to the tight ends, I think. He'll throw a lot of the backfield with Warren and all that. I think that will happen as well. But I think the Steelers got better. I think the Dolphins are going to – I think it's a downgrade from Smith to Waller. Even though Waller's young, it's still like Bode said, he's, been out for a couple years now. He's been out for a while. And so but I think – look, Bob, I think the Steelers now are better than the Bengals. I think they're the second best team in the AFC North.
We need to get some sound made called Tito's Takes.
You don't like the Fitbits thing anymore? I brought that up yesterday.
We can have that, Fitbit.
Yes.
Tito's Takes, Pitoff's Thoughts. I mean, all these different things. I cannot co-sign that. I can say they're close, but I can't sit there and tell you by that move that they just got better than the Cincinnati Bengals.
I think they're better equipped to defend against the Bengals.
That's
and
probably
I think,
true. So you build your teams to be able to compete in your division. And so obviously you start looking at Cincinnati as being one of the better teams.
Right.
They've got two really good They've got two really good receivers.
Right.
Cleveland's got a pretty good secondary. I mean, at least on paper when they're all healthy. In Baltimore, they do some different stuff, but that still give you some flexibility there. But to beat Cincinnati, you need a top flight corner, and maybe they're thinking that this is the answer.
That's what I'm looking at here. I think that I think they are better equipped to shut down Cincinnati's offense, or at least limit it. I shouldn't say shut down, because I don't think they'll be able to completely shut down Cincinnati's offense. And I think Cincinnati's defense is vulnerable enough that Rodgers, Metcalf, and those guys can take advantage of that, which is why I think that they could be better than Cincinnati. By the way, in the chat, Phil says he's excited because you being here, Bodie, for some Eagles-Cowboys banter later this year.
I'm not.
I'm sure you're going to want to do that as well. But
best team in the division. I don't know that I'm excited for that.
By the way, DeWine signed the deal, Bob, and the stadium funding has been approved for the Browns.
Oh, sign the deal? You mean the bill?
The bill, yeah. I can say the deal if I want to, I guess. I don't know. You're right. I guess technically it's a bill. But for that new Browns Dome Stadium. And
they throw a couple shekels in there for the Bengals too.
I don't know if that, I gotta believe it's part of it in there too. I didn't read that much into it, but as far as I go to I guess the Bengals can. It is part of that too. DeWine proposed doubling taxes on sports betting to help the Browns as well as the Bengals and other teams that might seek facility upgrades. But this is the unclaimed funds thing that's going there for the Browns to build their unplayoff team dome.
They used the couch cushion money.
That's what they did.
The unclaimed funds. I mean, that's dollars in the couch cushion.
This, and my argument, Bobby, this is that they're going to lose the home field advantage of playing out there. But the argument on the other side is they never really have a home field advantage. At least lately, haven't. It used to be a home field advantage. I know it's not now because they've sucked for so long. But do you like this idea of they'll be the only team in the AFC North not out in the elements right now?
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Thing or not a thing?
Right. We should do a segment like that. See if we can get some. See if we can get some kind of like imaging for that. We could play that. But I don't know, Bob. I'm probably a prisoner of the past on that one because I remember
a lot of the iconic or famous or infamous moments.
Yeah.
In Cleveland football sports history or most of the playoff disappointments. And a lot of times you can feel the weather watching those games on TV. Like watching the replay of them, Red Right 88 and the fumble and all those things.
Yes.
Like you can feel, that terrible chewed up turf that's been painted and like the guys, you can see the cold from that.
Yes, you see the breath.
And so like that's part of it. You go back like the Vikings before they were even in the Metrodome, they were outside.
Metropolitan Stadium it was in, yeah.
And there's a lot of iconic scenes from that. I don't know. I think the economic development is dome stadiums is where things are going.
I know.
And you can have a Super Bowl there. You can have a Final Four there. I think that'll be great for the state of Ohio. Yes. A lot of things. Crew, they could play you could play the well, they probably wouldn't play the Big Ten tournament there. But, there's a lot of things that you can ultimately do with that.
But
do you lose, like, part of the fabric of what makes your franchise special? Maybe.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a proponent of, I don't mind playing on turf. I like practicing on grass. And I know the players hate the turf, so they may have to do some sort of I'm be curious to see if they put turf in there or they do some sort of grass elements.
Yeah.
It's hard to be able to grow it inside, and you get the lights on and everything, and that's not terrible. But yeah, I'm really curious to see how this breaks and like if it impacts them in a positive or negative way.
Does the football
a dome just doesn't seem as angry as like the Cleveland fan base?
But does the football playing young Bobby Carpenter hate this idea of the Browns playing indoors?
I'm not going to sit here and I was not the biggest Browns fan growing up, so this isn't something that's going to like resonate deep within me, Thidoff, where I'm not super opinionated on it. I'm just curious, like if you, as a Browns fan, because we associate Cleveland, at least I do, like the Browns fans with being tough. Like they're one of the best fan bases because their team has sucked. They sit out in the cold. They go watch them late in the year. Like, there's a movie called You, Me, and Dupree. Have you seen this, Bodie?
I have not.
Is this the dead dog one?
Owen Wilson.
Oh, spoiler alert.
It's called Marley and Me.
Oh, sorry.
You, Me, and Dupree. Owen Wilson talks about losing your nest. What is your nest? Well, it's nest plus your name. Your bodiness, your pedo-ness.
Okay.
He's like, you don't want to lose your nest. I feel like the Browns, like you could be losing a little bit of your nest right now, your Brownsness, like which is inherently kind of the toughness and the grit and the fabric of kind of what makes Cleveland sports special.
If I ever decide to go to a December Browns game, I'm sure I'll be happy they're in a dome. But watching it from home in December, if there's a Browns-Steelers game on, if I want to watch Browns, Bengals, Browns, Ravens, whatever, an important game, I'm going to miss seeing the cold. And I told you that, Bob, when the NFL schedule comes out, the first thing I look at are who's hosting outdoor games.
I wanted to say, in Dallas, could we be on the road early in the season and at home later?
See, you would do that, yeah.
Because I wanted to play in mild climates.
See, that goes against Bobby, but I don't think you should say that publicly.
Why?
Even if it's true.
Why?
Because
I'm not worried about people questioning my toughness.
I know you're not worried about it, and you shouldn't be.
So if you ever played a football game in 95 degrees, it's
question
brutal.
your toughness on this one. No, but Bobby, it shouldn't be because you're a football player, and we the people.
In order to form a more perfect union.
We want you to embrace playing outside in November and December.
I have to listen to everybody tell me it's too cold to watch games outside.
Yeah, that's why we stay home and watch it on TV. But I'm saying, though, Bobby, why
am I going to listen to you then for that?
You're not listening to me. You listen to America, Bob. It's not just me.
This isn't America. This is you. Projecting your thoughts as if they're all American thoughts.
I think it's American to play football in November and December outdoors.
At some point, you deemed yourself the spokesman for the country.
It didn't come overnight, Bob.
The Secretary of State over here, the top diplomat?
Didn't happen overnight. I've said before, look, I want to be the sports fan ambassador for the state of Ohio. I'm nice to opposing fans. I try to present a positive image for Columbus when people come to one of my proudest moments.
See if we can get 2 shaves in a row.
Listen, we
got
try
to present a positive. It's the first time I've seen you shave in like 5 years.
Let's
try to string together another one.
When Ohio State played Nebraska, the first time here in the Horseshoe when they joined the Big Ten, I was at breakfast. Nebraska fans right next to me. I went out of my way to introduce myself to them, welcome them to Columbus, tell them all about our great city, welcome them to the Big Ten, even though they let me down with the way they performed in the Big Ten.
That up?
I didn't bring it up at the time because it was early on, but I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt. When Ohio State played Texas here, you remember that game, and Texas fans next to me, did I taunt them? Did I yell? No. Did I say negative things about Texas? No. I introduced myself to them. I welcomed them. I said, thank you for coming to our city. I think that's why I should be the sports fan ambassador. Now, I think you know somebody who's kind of higher up here in the whole hierarchy, right, of the government in the state of Ohio?
You think I'm going to ask Jim Tressel to make you the official ambassador of Ohio sports?
No, just sports fan ambassador for the state of Ohio. And you can
ask. Have you ever heard of the term putting your best foot forward?
And that's what I've been doing.
You get one chance at a first. Don't worry about it. I'm going to sit back down. I should get some out of my pocket. I appreciate you, though, over there changing the camera. Shark mailed that in a long time ago.
Shark.
He never moved anything.
He moves the other camera.
But what other camera is that?
I'm not going to say it on the air, but it's not. He's got a camera at home. Let's just say that. That one he'll adjust.
But you put your best foot forward. You only get one chance at a first impression. And so fans of the state of Ohio, if you were this position, you would be the tip of the spear. You would be the person that they would meet first. Do you think that that's giving us the best representation of what our state is?
I do. I think, look, I think those Texas and Nebraska fans would say, they'd vote for me. They would say, yeah, I think that's, if they knew who I was now. It's been a few years now since all that happened, obviously. But yes, I think I would be good for that job. So I don't know, next time you're going to be with John, if you can bring it up to him.
Sean Tressel.
Yes, and see if he, just tell him, hey, look, Ice wants to be.
And Mark DeWine.
Yes, say Ice wants to be the sports fan ambassador. Okay, I'm not joking about that. Something else we don't joke about around here is Ohio State football. Austin Ward's going to join us next to talk about that. This is Morning Juice.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. I know what it's like to be stuck in that cycle of pain where you're trying to get better. You keep going to the doctor, steroid shots, surgeries. Do not go down that road anymore. Go see my friends at QC Kinetics. They will help treat you without going under the knife and without the meds. QC Kinetics are the leaders in regenerative medicine to help your body heal itself. And I should know, I've been a client there, and they helped me with my knee get back to the running in the summer and going whitewater rafting and all of the things that you enjoy. And this is the critical part about my friends with QC. 92% of patients report satisfaction with their results. That's peace of mind. It's not just a number. They're trying to help you. They're the second opinion that you're looking for to keep you from getting under the knife. To find out if you're a good candidate, go check them out at qckinetics.com/Columbus. The consultation is free, or call 380-284544. That's 380-284544. They have offices all over Central Ohio, so go check them out.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
It's been a real journey since 2014 when I first had my injury. I realized that my home was just not working for me and that it was time to ask for help. Homes for Our Troops is really giving me my life back. The shower allows me to go in and turn around with my chair, pull down storage racks, automated door systems, hours of my morning given back to me. Adaptive sports are a huge part of my life, a huge part of my healing journey as well. Homes for Our Troops helped with making sure that I had a home gym so that I can continue to train. This past year, I was able to host Thanksgiving in my home. And it was the first time I was able to have my whole family in one place and I was able to contribute to the meal. There are a lot more veterans in need, and Homes for Our Troops is going to be there to help them too.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Bobby is the all-American male. Tito pulled a hammy getting his mail. This is Morning Juice.
Do you need a bank that truly values local businesses in this town and the opportunity to work alongside them as partners? Whether you're a small business or a large operation, Riverside Bank of Dublin, they've got the right tools for the job. Riverside Bank of Dublin has the experience of working right here in Central Ohio. They understand the business climate in our area, and they're going to help you reach your goals. Whether you need an SBA loan to get your business off the ground, a line of credit to keep your business running smoothly, or equipment financing to get your business up to scale, Riverside Bank will tailor a solution that fits your needs. Visit them at riverside.bank or stop in. Get to know them at their location located right there on 6300 France Road. Riverside Bank of Dublin, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
All right, it's that time. We love doing this. Let's see if it works.
a guy who considers himself the mayor of Laramie, Wyoming, who holds the shuffleboard record at the Ranger, and most impressive, the commissioner of the Central Ohio Two-Man Scramble League. Here's Austin Ward.
Okay, Austin Ward joining us. Couple things. First, we got to find out what the hell Austin's doing now, because he keeps adding stuff to like his plate and like different titles and all these things. And somebody in the chat mentions about how jealous they are of the Roosters gear everyone wears, to which I want to say not everyone. Austin's got a lovely Roosters hat on. We see Bobby's rooster. Let's make sure I'm careful about that. And his gear he's got on as well. I don't see any Roosters gear on Tito or Bodie, and I'm not saying it's you guys are rubbing my face in it or Bodie's face.
Well,
but
the lovely Nicole has given a lot to Shark and Beam over the years. I will talk to Nicole.
No, it's okay. I'm not going to beg. I don't want to come across that way, Bobby. That's not my
pandering,
style.
begging. I mean,
I'm not going to do that.
Austin, that's what Jeff does best.
I'm not going to do that. Austin, how are you today, my friend? What are you doing now?
Wonderful. Yeah, I mean it's earned, not given.
You're right. That's fair.
Just put in your time, and I know Nicole will take care of you, as Bob said, and looking forward to getting back to a fun, casual joint with those guys to talk soon. That'll be the next evolution of what as we retool here, revamp, rebuild, reload. That part on the writing side for me is now back at Letterman Row, where Berm and I once helped build that from the ground up with our friend Will Crawl and Bob's friend Will Crawl, and initially went over there as part of the On3 movement. Didn't kind of work out the way we wanted to, but On3 and Rivals have since merged, and it just made sense for dotting the I's and Letterman Row to come back together. So it's a homecoming opportunity for me. Pretty excited about that. Doesn't change anything with 97.1 and 10 TV with what we've got going with the Austin and Berm Show. All the podcasts are still going to be everywhere you found them since the beginning of May. We won't be changing channels. We won't be switching anything up there, because we're mostly – I'm excited about the writing part, but I'm still incredibly pumped up about what we've got going on with this family over there at the Fan.
So we hear Tony Petitti say that he's still prefers that 4 Big Ten automatic qualifiers. Bobby and I talked about this earlier in the show. Want to get your take. Do you think that it will happen? Do you think it should happen?
I don't love the 4 automatic qualifying model for college football as a whole. I would be more in favor of it if Tony Petitti could find one thing that he truly believes in and stick with it. Because if you listen to his conversation with Joel Klatt, he was talking in circles and arguing with himself. And on one hand, advocating for automatic qualifying spots because he thinks that there are going to be opportunities to enhance the non-conference schedule, which I think we all know is not true, while then circling around to an argument that says, well, it does help if you have the selection committee not involved, and if you have more important conference games. The best way to get more important conference games is to have more of them. And I'm going to keep talking about this because it's not ever going to get to the point where I think it should be, which is nothing but Big Ten games, which I think is...
Oh, I like a big non-conference game, Austin.
I know, but guess what happens to those non-conference games if you're giving out AQ spots, Bob? And I know you know the answer. They don't mean anything.
They're fun to watch.
They become, but they would be true exhibitions, honestly. And we get these big non-conference games now in the playoff. That's what the expansion has given us, opportunities. Look at the list of opponents that Ohio State played. It wasn't just that they were great games, although they were, but they had 2 SEC teams. They played the Big Ten champion that they lost to in the regular season, and then they capped it off against Notre Dame in the College Football Playoff National Championship. You can't build a non-conference schedule that as good as the one that you would face in the playoff. So I realize that there are a ton of moving pieces and a lot of factors, but you can't on the one hand say you want AQ spots because it's going to give you better non-conference games, because why would it? The only teams that you'd be talking about specifically are like Ohio State and Michigan and maybe Oregon that would schedule up. Nobody else is going to. If the teams that are suddenly fighting for the 4th spot and then maybe trying to fall back on the at-large, if we're thinking about Penn State's scheduling approach, or if you're now talking about the next wave, look at Indiana's schedule. Last year, this year, They're not going to suddenly be like, you know what we need to do? We need to play Florida. Indiana is not going to do that. Okay, so you're asking Ohio State to maybe do that because the broadcast partners would want it. But the second that everyone realizes, wait a minute, there's no incentive for Ohio State to win this game. There's no incentive for Texas to win this game. Both of those conferences have automatic qualifying spots. This isn't going to affect seeding in all likelihood. Why would they play their best players in those games? Because they don't actually count towards the qualifying status. They don't count towards the Big Ten standings. They don't count towards the playoff. The fun of the non-conference games was that there were meaningful stakes being added to a lot of games in like week 1 or September. That won't be the case in this model.
I get that. I understand that. Do you think Tony Petitti, the reason he's doing this, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier, is simply the drive, Austin, to be able to garner more revenue with that 3, 6, 4, 5 Big Ten bonanza on College Football Championship Saturday?
I think that's been the driving factor for the Big Ten and their belief about how expansion should be handled. 100%. I think, when was the first time you first heard that floated, Bob, the championship weekend? For me, it was like 3 full years ago. I think this has been the goal for Tony Petitti and for the conference as a whole for a long time. And I don't actually have any issues.
Wait, is this a Kevin Warren? Is this a Kevin Warren creation? Are we? I mean, we can call it like the Warren piece on Saturday. We got the
Warren Commission.
Yeah, the Warren. We'll call it the Warren. It'll be great. We can name something after him for all the great things he did for the conference.
Yeah,
Big noon. Thank Kevin Warren.
Discussed. Yeah, let's thank him for all of his great contributions to the Big Ten. And his ability to read contracts in the fine print. The folks around the league have been talking about this before, and then it went into overdrive with Tony Petitti because he saw the financial value and impact that could have for the Big Ten. And I don't have a problem with it competitively. And if that's the model that the Big Ten wants to pursue, there can be a bunch of really cool things done with the championship Saturday or whatever, championship weekend to close out the Big Ten season. I think you have to put that hand in hand with the expansion of the conference schedule. You know, he keeps talking about how proud he is of them playing 9 conference games, and I think that's intended as a shot at the SEC, but 9 is also still not enough. It is unbalanced in virtually every way. This is an 18-team conference now. And if you are trying to award not just the championship spot, which is hard with the tiebreakers and not playing everybody, and just simple math, 5 road games and 4 home games, or vice versa, it doesn't make any sense. And it clears a path when you have a lighter year. Just look at what happened with Indiana a year ago. And I don't want this to be a segment where I'm just picking on the Hoosiers for the entire time, but
fraudulent.
This is not. When you look, they played really a competitive game against the Irish, but I think Bodie knows that full well. Like, yes, they got a big lead early on, Notre Dame, but I want to at least make that point that they played competitively in that game. Indiana did, but did they deserve to fully be there? Did they play the most challenging Big Ten schedule on the path to get to that point? No, they did not, and that's a product of these unbalanced schedules. So I think I would love it if Tony Petitti and the Big Ten would address some things that impact the league directly before weighing in on some of these other matters for the SEC or the AQ status of the college football playoff expansion. I realize that all these conversations are happening at one time, and so I may not get my wish there, but I just that seems to be such a simple solution. And if you only go to 10, Bob, and you open up this door to still play these non-conference games, so be it. I can accept that, but I don't understand the reticence to even out the league, because guess what it also gives you if you add a 10th Big Ten game? More conference inventory for your broadcast partners, which is what everyone loves to talk about, turning games into products.
That's Austin. It's funny. I never heard the phrase inventory associated with college football until these recent TV deals, as far as that goes. And that tells where we're at on this. He's, by the way, one half of The Beat with Austin and Berm, now available on 10 TV Plus app. This is where Bobby, you can make your joke, Bobby. which
No,
happened.
I didn't,
Okay.
I didn't say anything.
I know you didn't this time, but you have before. Austin, I guess also, how many position battles do you think are still up in the air for this Ohio State team? And what ones are you most looking forward to outside of the quarterback one, if that's even still a position battle?
Yeah, no, I definitely would still say that the quarterback competition is a battle, although Jeremiah Smith threw some gasoline on that fire for Julian Sayin with his comments to The Athletic. And I thought those were interesting, although I would add a caveat that we don't know what the actual question or how that conversation went to get to that quote, but that's too much inside baseball. I do think that that's ongoing. I've mentioned Tito before. We don't see the full picture in spring practice. We saw, parts of 3 practices and the entirety of 2 others. And 4 out of those 5, the general consensus was that Lincoln Kienholz had better days out of that group. Now, again, that's not all 15. That's not every snap. Julian Sayin clearly had the best performance in the spring game. So if Ryan Day is saying that it is neck and neck and that they've traded, gone back and forth with punches in the lead, I believe him. I've learned my lesson to take him at his word that he's not been misleading about his quarterback situation. So I'm very excited for July 31st and for that to kick off, because I think that you can't take that uncertainty more than 2 weeks out if you're opening against Texas, and there is value to winning that game, of course, because of this model that we're in now. I think how the carries are going to be dispersed with C.J. Donaldson and James Peoples at the top is worth monitoring. I don't know that counts as a battle, because we've seen Ohio State will use both of its top running backs, and Carlos Loughlin was really effective with that last year, managing Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. Maybe you can say there's a little bit of a battle at right tackle if Phillip Daniels can force Austin Sehraveld out of that spot. I think that's Austin Sehraveld's job. I think he will be there against Texas. Not really anything going on at tight end. Wide receiver, pretty clear cut with the top group. Nothing at linebacker, nothing necessarily at corner. I think at nickel you might have some conversations, but for you look at this team, the starting lineup for me, Tito, I don't know that it's that difficult to write down what the first unit is going to look like on both sides of the football for Ohio State outside of quarterback. I think the only part that we get into where we could quibble are like position battles for depth and maybe being the top backup or cracking the rotation. And that's fun too. I mean, we could talk about that till the end of the 8 o'clock hour here,
Ooh.
but I think it ultimately comes down to just Julian Sayin and Lincoln Kienholz and then charting the future from there for Ohio State.
Very interesting there. Do you think, Austin, because historically, at least last year, didn't really, they didn't play Julian Sayin and Lincoln Kienholz, really. I mean, Ryan elected to get a lot of reps with Will Howard to develop that continuity. Yep. Do you foresee some more of the younger guys playing in some of these early games? Now, maybe Texas notwithstanding, but getting more guys rotating in earlier as opposed to what was done last year?
Probably not in the opener, but you have an opportunity after that with just, really all due respect to the MAC champions. Those are tune-up games for Ohio State coming after week 1, and you have to maximize that. And it's twofold. It's building your depth for the course of the year, and it's also building for the future. Both of those things are preparation. But there are, even when you're talking about the starters, I think that's the interesting part. Bob, you and I were talking about that on the beat for Wednesday morning, which is like even a guy like Arvell Reese. We think he's going to be a monster and a superstar. He needs more game reps still. He got some a year ago, but he's never had to do it on a full-time basis. Caden McDonald, Edric Houston, they fall in that same boat. They need reps, but you also don't want to wear them out in games where the outcome is really not going to be in jeopardy for Ohio State. So I think that's a balancing act, but I do looking back last year outside of the quarterback spot where Julian Sayin did get in the game more than I thought he would. He also got to throw the football. That used to be a conversation 5 years ago. Why didn't CJ Stroud get to throw the football when he came in these games? Like, okay, well, there's
Load
a change.
management,
Julian Sayin got those. That's right. You take care of that arm. Julian Sayin got the chance to throw. We saw that in a number of games, and sometimes surprisingly so, with that touchdown to Bennett Christian late in the game off that play action. But anyway, I do think that they will, because they're planning to play 16 games or maybe 17 games. And I thought last year the approach that they took was really smart, but it's given the churn of college football, you have to do that every single year. That's the delicate part when you're talking about this number of reps in an NFL style schedule. So I think we'll see that, and it's necessity for the Buckeyes.
He's handsome. He's fit. He's also half of The Beat with Austin and Berm, now available on 10 TV Plus and on the 10 TV Plus app. And we love having him on. We'll do it again next week. Thanks so much for your time, brother. We'll talk.
All right. See you guys.
That was Austin Ward there joining us. Coming up next, what's got you juiced? Morning Juice.
Once there was a man who couldn't stand.
A mom who couldn't wait.
A scientific community that said it couldn't be done.
And then you.
And then I.
And then we.
Brought neuromuscular disease into screaming color with the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
For 75 years, our voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
We've willed the impossible into existence.
We've pushed the science,
raised the funds,
shifted the narrative,
and transformed the reality of life with neuromuscular diseases.
For 75 years, we've built communities together.
Established the field of neuromuscular medicine,
and made it thrive.
Call that a legacy.
Call it impact.
Call it momentum.
Just call it ours.
Because it's the generations of community heroes that give MDA the strength we have today.
And until neuromuscular disease is a thing of the past, you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
Your child is sick. With those 4 words, the innocence and joy of childhood disappears. But Starlight has taught us 4 other words that make all the difference. The power of play. Happy kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation delivers happiness through gaming, toy deliveries, and more to hospitals across the country. Learn more at starlight.org.
Your child's oral health milestones matter. By age 1, see a pediatric dentist to establish good oral health habits. At 7, see an orthodontist to check your child's bite, teeth, and jaws. Around 15, visit an oral and maxillofacial surgeon to have your child's wisdom teeth examined. Remember, milestones met, healthy teeth set. Visit milestonesmet.org.
Hi, I'm Kim Holderness.
And I'm Penn Holderness. You don't have to have an amazing race to the doctor, but you should make time for routine cancer screenings.
I schedule my mammogram and other cancer screenings around my birthday and then treat myself to lunch.
I do too, because, of course, everyone likes lunch.
The C word can be scary, but routine screenings can detect cancer before symptoms appear.
And early detection equals better outcomes.
Go to preventcancer.org to find out which cancer screenings you need.
At National Geographic Society, we believe in the power of wonder. It drives us to explore, pushes us to see the world differently, moves us to action. And we believe that today, wonder is more essential than ever.
Wow.
That's why we're supporting a new generation of explorers to ask big questions, make breakthroughs, and bring the future closer. Wonder awaits. Will you join us? Visit natgeo.org/wonder.
Attack and dominate, YouTubers. You're locked into Morning Juice.
Oh, Morning Juice. Do I want to jinx it? No. Will I jinx it? Yes. We've had, other than the headphone incident, it's been a very seamless day today, the transition from Shark to Bodie. Bodie, you've done great.
Yeah, listen, I feel like Ryan Day, when he coached, was it 3 games at the beginning of 2018?
Yeah,
I mean, I learned from the best. So I sat in here for 2 days, technically not 3, but nevertheless, you learn from Shark. I mean, it's just...
You woke up on third base.
I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you remember this. Oh, listen. When Carlos Laughlin, that was one thing. When he was like, "Man," Ryan said he wasn't born on third base. He's like, "I was born in the dugout." He's like, "We work around here."
Right.
It was great. Do you remember in that TCU game, one of the kickoff return where they had the guy lying?
Yes, yeah. I remember
we called it the snake in the grass, but literally lying down. I mean, talk about you being your first game as a head coach, and that's the crap people are pulling out on you. That you got to go to a press conference and be like,
God, was that the first game?
Or second. I guess it was their second game, I think.
Yeah, I think it was their second, right?
I think they played Oregon State in the opener.
Yes,
Does that sound right?
That does sound right, yeah.
Look at you, Bodie.
Look at me.
All the knowledge. Bodie's got
It's
all
an
the
upgrade.
Bodie told us he has the first 30 presidents memorized, and he's telling us that
If you need a Notre Dame football score, since Brian Kelly was the coach,
He's got
I
all those
you there.
scores, Bob.
Maybe not all of them, but
He's
I think
got a
I
lot
got
of them.
most of them.
How about that Navy game they lost?
Which one?
That's a good point. That's fair.
The one where Bob Diaco went into the press conference afterwards and said we didn't have a plan B. That one, I think it was Alex Teich, where they just went right up the middle.
What year was that?
That was 2010. That was Kelly's first year, 35-17 in the Meadowlands.
My brother
They got
was there.
smoked.
My brother
and it
was
wasn't
there
that
for
close.
Yeah.
I got a late garbage time touchdown.
That's what you want. A garbage TD against Navy.
Navy. Yes. That's got to make it respectable.
That was the first time they had lost in like 30-some years, wasn't it?
Oh, no. That
They
was
lost
Charlie
it.
Weiss.
Oh, Weiss was
did that in 07, I think it
Yes.
was. They lost like double or triple overtime.
was the
the
last
first-
one since Faust or something like that?
Oh, I think even longer than that.
Yeah,
Probably.
I think Staubach.
I was going to say, I think we're going back
I'm
to
not
the
kidding
Second
you.
World
Yeah,
War.
that-
Yeah, I mean, it was 40-some years.
I can commiserate with you in that, Bodie, because I was part of an Ohio State team that lost to Northwestern for the first time in 34 years. And so whenever they bring that out and like showing clips of it and the grainy old
Did you
footage,
feel
like,
great?
that was so bad. So bad.
You guys also did win a national championship.
We did, so you have
Disputed,
that
but
offset.
yeah.
Charlie Weiss came up a little shy on that.
A little bit. Let's do what's got you juiced.
What's got you juiced?
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
My spreadsheet, the algorithm shows Wednesday. Bobby, I think that means you go first.
And we can. What's got me juiced? Yesterday, Sharks' last day. It was great. He is a guy that doesn't like a lot of attention, even though he was on a microphone for the better part of 4 decades. But he's never been one for the spotlight. He doesn't like recognition. He doesn't like attention. And so what was done yesterday, give you a lot of credit to off for pulling a lot of that together and getting a lot of those guys on video. Tyler for putting that thing together late. Ben just having it all operational. Bodie for everything you did with this as well. Schlegs and Beam coming in and being a part of it. And then honestly, I told Shark, and I was like, you handled that really well yesterday. And just the way, like, hey, Schlegs, sit down. You take it. Beam, sit down. I mean, it was really well done by you. I thought the show went great. People were very happy about it. His family loved it. He loved it. And, and I can't even imagine what it's like retiring. We had a retirement party for my dad, and that seems like almost surreal that that's kind of the same thing. But when you've done something your whole life and to step away from it, something you really love, not that it's not well-deserved and he doesn't, he's not excited about it, but there is a sadness element to it as well. And so I'm going to miss him, but I'm excited for you being here, Bodie. It was a great treat and a great surprise. I know Shark is excited. He's probably up listening right now. Has he been active in the chat?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's
Shark
going to use.
knows how to type in the chat.
I think he's going to have a pseudonym. I don't think it's going to be Shark. I won't say Shark. It's going to be something else, and it's probably going to be inflammatory.
Yeah, well,
derogatory.
Something marine life related, though.
I think so.
Shark adjacent, at least.
Yes, shark adjacent, I think is what it will be.
Okay,
Yes.
there we go. But it will be good to see his family and everything yesterday too. Was pretty awesome. That has me juiced. And listen, it's the 4th of July coming up.
Independence
Super
Day.
juiced about that. Independence Day on Friday. I feel like the whole week, like it's fourth. If you're getting me a Friday 4th of July, we're getting a whole week of celebration out of it. People were already lighting up fireworks yesterday in my neighborhood. So
anybody blowing their hand off or
no?
Okay,
not yet.
No Giants defensive lineman.
I'm hoping that doesn't happen for anyone. I have a friend that got hit in the eye with one. Oh, I'll show you a picture of it.
Now it's not nearly as funny.
He laughs about it.
Does he?
You know what his occupation is?
I got to believe he does something where he drives in circles.
He's a cameraman.
Of course he is.
So they had to
open
give
the
him-
other eye.
They had to give him an extra long camera piece because it's his right eye. So now he has a double one, Bodie, that goes all the way across onto his left.
No,
Nice.
he doesn't.
I'm dead serious.
Really?
His right eye is gone. It's glass. It got blown up by a firework. I showed my kids that.
Oof.
By the way, that right there, underrated. If you're listening right now,
He makes jokes about it all the time.
He never wore a patch though. The eye patch. Did he do that?
He has a glass one in.
I know it's done with a patch away. When I used to have
like the guy from Dodgeball.
Yes, I don't know. I've never seen Dodgeball, but anyway,
What?
no, that's what Cannonball Run. I would say though the one of the funnier things to do though is when you bring over a date to meet your parents the first time. What I used to do is I would say, look, just don't stare at my mom's left eye. It's glass. And I always say my dad's hard of hearing, so make sure you speak up when you talk to him. None of that's true, but it is so funny to do
make stuff
that.
up. That's good.
Yes.
I don't know why you just said they don't speak another language.
Really
dive on in.
I should have done that.
So yeah, that's some good stuff though. A lot of great things going on, and excited for this. Shark, I think this was the last thing that he cut for me. Whatever you have down there is a Dana White. Let's play that.
I tell young people now all the time, I definitely tell my kids, if you are even fucking remotely a savage, you'll run these people over. This next generation, if you are even remotely a savage, you will run over every one of these kids in this next generation, you know? And then what's great is I've said this before and I saw people going, oh my God, to even have that, you're the first fucking guy I'm running over. What do you want out of your life? Yeah. You know, what do you want?
So do you think,
it's easy to sit around and fucking cry about everything. Yeah. Get out there and get what you want. It's all out there for the taking right now.
Trying to think who he was talking to in that. Be tough then off.
Was it Rogan maybe he was talking to?
I think it was Rogan.
Could have been, yeah.
Yeah. Go be tough. Go be I tell my kids, it's easy to be tough now because there's not a lot of people who are. So separate yourself with that. Go be tough. Let's get so excited. Let's get juice. Bodes. Are we going to do Schlegel?
We can, yes. I'm glad you reminded me. Let me get my dad turned back up here. All right, here's what Schlegel's got for us today.
The game is still gap control, pace space angles. What are they trying to do? Anticipation, trust your eyes and your study. Like, that never changes. I think the thing that has changed is that coaches have gotten better at adjusting to their personnel versus the scheme only.
That's Schlegs.
Filling the A gap. That's tough.
I texted Schlegs last night.
What's got you juiced? No, let's give Bodie. What's he got you juiced?
Okay. Guys, I am super juiced to be here. I am super pumped to be with you guys. I know I got some big shoes to replace with Shark, but I will try to do my best here. Going to echo some of the thoughts that you had as well, Carp. Getting to meet Shark's family and whatnot at his retirement party last night was awesome. I believe it was Jim Tressel who said you win with people.
I think Woody.
Woody Hayes.
Okay.
It's kind of like Michael Scott, Wayne Gretzky. Tress used to say all the time, but he would give Woody credit for it.
And Shark is truly, honestly, for as great as he was at radio, he is honestly, I can tell all the listeners and whatnot, you two know this, but Shark is honestly one of the greatest human beings I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. Just a fantastic guy. And that doesn't even speak to how great he was on radio. I'll miss listening to him as much as I was looking forward to working with you guys. I will definitely miss seeing him and listening to him every day. I hope he, if he's awake, I hope he got to sleep in. And if he's not awake, good for him. I hope he is still then sleeping in. What also has me juiced, guys, I saw this a couple days ago, and I was pretty fired up about this. EA Sports tweeted this out on June 30th, which was Monday, a couple days ago at 11:10 a.m., quote, bring the madness, let's run it back, hashtag college basketball, hashtag it's in the game. We saw last summer the college football video game made its return after more than a decade from being away. The last college basketball game that we got in terms of a video game was November 17th, 2009. So it's been almost 15, 16 years there. Now, it's probably still a few years away, so I'm not going to get too excited about that.
Maybe.
That's what I thought I saw, too. So, but nevertheless, that has me pretty juiced because I would love to play a college basketball game again as well, along with the NCAA, or I guess they're not calling it NCAA football anymore, but EA Sports college football. So that's got me fired up as well. Tito, what has you juiced?
You know, the college basketball thing, by the way, I don't remember playing a video basketball game that I thought was as realistic as the football games.
It's open flow. Like football, you pick a play and you get to run a play. Like basketball, it's a little bit harder to like set stuff up and move in the free flow gaming.
The best ones are like the ones that are like NBA Jam's my favorite. Like
NBA Jam.
You know, but I'm saying like the unrealistic games for basketball are the ones I like the best. But we'll see if this works out on that one. I did text Schlegs. Bobby, thank you for the kind words. Bodie, you guys, look, yesterday was a lot of fun. Bobby, it was you, it was Carp, it was Schlegs, it was Beam. That was Morning Juice, and that's why the show took off to where it has. And that's I'm always going to pay respect to the four of you for what you were able to do, and especially when you guys came on board with how tough it was with COVID going on and to the heights you guys have taken things. What else has got me juiced, Bodie? Great job today. And I'm happy you're here. Really ecstatic about that. Last night was a lot of fun, Bobby. Thank you for doing all you did to set all that up. And yeah, meeting Shark's family. A lot of people who I've, maybe communicated with a little bit, but didn't get to meet until yesterday. And how excited they were for his new life going forward. And I can't wait for August 5th when you throw out that first pitch at the game. I'll get to see him all out there again. It's probably the next time I'll see Shark. But
he was pretty cocky about his ability to do that.
That part, that right there was a little off-putting. And now, as opposed to where I might be rooting for him, now I'm hoping he bounces it in front of the plate. I think that's what I want to see now.
Maybe he falls and breaks his hip.
No, I don't want to.
50 Cent, just airmail it.
Put in the dugout.
Look, at his age, a broken hip, it's almost a Barbaro situation. So no, I don't want to see him break a hip. I just want to see him maybe not have the level of success he thinks he's going to have throwing that. But that'll be a lot of fun, and I'm glad he's never done it before at Huntington Park. He said he's done it at the old Coop, but never thrown the first pitch at Huntington Park, so that'll be fun to see that. 4th of July, I'm excited about that. Independence Day. God, I just caught myself. Bobby, by the way, I was juiced because you made the argument for me again.
Well, I said if it's on Friday, it's the whole week. If it's Thursday, it's the whole week, too.
No, they don't
the only time
backtrack.
It's not is if it's Monday. Then you're not celebrating the 4th on, the 5th, 6th, 7th. But if it's on the 3rd, or if it's on, the Thursday, then you can kind of roll into Friday and the weekend. It's good.
We should celebrate Independence Day every day, Bob.
I do.
That's right. We should do
America.
that. There's I just got a text. Look, one of the best things in the world when you get to be an adult is to go into an establishment where it's like a Cheers type environment where everybody knows your name kind of thing. Baker was telling me this last night.
Pure platinum.
Well, whatever it is, that's fine. But I'm surprised you and Schlegs didn't take Shark there yesterday after the show. But maybe you did. I don't know, and I don't want to know because I don't want to I want to soil my image. Soil's a red word used about that place, but I don't want to soil my image of Shark. But Gabby's is a place my sister goes to. You ever been to Gabby's before? Tamarack Circle area, northeast side.
I feel like I have.
Yeah, it's that kind of vibe. And I know when I go in there, not often, when I do go in there, though, they're very friendly. It's a lot of people, a lot of regulars in there, which you like to see. And they're having a 4th of July cookout. I was invited to that. I might swing over there. There's a country singer, Andy Jo Taylor's going to be there. She's done some some big acts, but she'll be there like a meet and greet kind of thing. But that's on 4th of July. It's from 7 to 11. If I can find my way over there, but that's
AM
over
or
there.
PM?
It's PM, but they might be open at 7 a.m. Gabby's is that kind of place where you can go in there.
Drink in the morning.
I don't know if you can drink in the morning, but I all I'm saying is it's a very friendly place and a lot of good people there.
9 o'clock on a Saturday.
I might open up a bar called Morning Juice, and
regular crowd shuffles
it's like a coffee shop. We're going to close at 2.
Yes,
we'll serve you alcohol from 6 to 2.
Bobby. We do the show from there.
Folks out there,
we do the show from there.
Get yourself some morning juice.
Put it right. Look, you've got a heck of a spread there. I half expect Reagan to tell you to tear down that wall between you and your neighbors. You've got that much land out there. Okay. You could build it on your plot there.
You can order coffee, but only with bourbon, only with an additive.
Bobby, some of these great ideas. See, that's where it comes from.
I mean, there's people out there that love morning drinking so much that, like in New Orleans, you can order stuff, walk around with it, order it for the drive-through on the way to work. Really pick
they say
it up.
You can't drink all day unless you start in the morning,
100%. Right? I mean, you look at Shane Gillis on SNL when he did the couple of beers. Right? Really help pick up your day.
God, Bobby, it's too. If we did 3 hours, we could have really explored the room on this one.
We've got tomorrow.
All right. We got tonight. Who needs tomorrow? Let's make it last.
Thanks, Bob.
Let's find a way. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Morning Juice will join you tomorrow again.
Bobby Carpenter here with the Riverside Bank of Dublin Sports Money Report. Central Ohio is home to a lot of sporting events that bring in millions of dollars of economic impact to our town. These events are huge for the city, providing revenue for local businesses, job creation, infrastructure development, and many other benefits. Here's Chuck Moore, CEO, and Travis Sanders, president of Riverside Bank of Dublin, on how they help local businesses prosper year-round.
Thanks, Bobby. We truly value our local businesses and the opportunity to work alongside them as partners. Whether you're a small business or a large operation, Riverside Bank of Dublin has the right tools for the job.
Whether you need an SBA loan to get your business off the ground, a line of credit to keep your business running smoothly, or equipment financing to get your business up to scale, Riverside Bank will tailor a solution that fits your needs.
Right on the target, Travis. We understand the business climate in Central Ohio, and we will help you reach your goals.
Tune in every day for the Riverside Bank of Dublin Sports Money Report. Visit their office at 6300 France Road in Dublin or online at riverside.bank.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey guys, 13-year NFL veteran and Super Bowl champion Jason McCourty here, and I'm the Innovation Ambassador at FAIR, Food Allergy and Research Education. I would say the most challenging thing as a parent of a kid who has a food allergy is probably the ignorance that I myself had in the beginning. I didn't know what anaphylactic shock was. I didn't know the dangers, let alone the things that she needed to be able to have a normal life. When you go to drop your kid off, and every single time in the beginning, we'd have to go through everything she was allergic to. Preparation is everything. And me, for playing football for 13 years, it was all throughout the course of the week. It's getting ready for game day. When you're on the field, you're playing for your fans. At home, you're playing for your family. My playbook, read labels, keep it allergy friendly, and have an epinephrine nasal spray as a backup plan. Because when my family's safe from food allergens, that's the real victory. Visit foodallergy.org to learn more.
Don't let biased algorithms or degree screens or exclusive professional networks or stereotypes. Don't let anything keep you from discovering the half of the workforce who are stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time to tear the paper ceiling and see the stars beyond it. Find out how you can make stars part of your talent strategy at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
The best words to hear at the TSA security checkpoint? You're good to go. All it takes is a little preparation. Get to the airport early. Bring a carry-on bag that fits in the overhead, and have an acceptable ID. Not all state-issued IDs will cut it. Check out tsa.gov/ID and see which TSA acceptable IDs make the grade, like a real ID or passport.
Before you jet, do a little prep, and you're good to go. Check out tsa.gov/ID or